No, sir. Didn't like it.
Welcome back to another episode of Nerdstrodamus. I'm Dr. Pants.
I'm Lambo.
What are you doing?
I think the studio's haunted.
What makes you... No, it's not.
Yeah.
Why would you say it's haunted?
When I was walking through the hallway, a gravestone rose out of the ground in front of me. Coffin opened. Yeah. Demon. Had to fight it. Were you not there?
No, I got here before you.
You tossed me a sword.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. I kept getting assaulted.
By what?
A mannequin wearing a suit.
That's Slender. That's Slender the 8 Pages.
I was in Raccoon City.
Resident Evil.
You know where it is. It's like down by Philly, right?
Resident Evil. That's Resident Evil. That didn't happen to you.
I was in Silent Hill.
That's Silent Hill. I think you were playing too many horror games before going to bed last night.
I did.
Yeah. But that's the topic of today's episode of Nerdstrodamus. We are talking about horror games because, well, it's that time of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And we love horror games. In fact, there was a period of time where we downloaded every crappy free indie horror game available on PC and tried them and scared the crap out of ourselves.
Yeah, there's some really good ones. There's some really bad ones. And no matter what, they're all a little scary.
They are.
Doesn't matter how bad they are.
It's true. It's true. But speaking of scares, we need to talk about our favorite scary moments in video games.
Indeed. And they don't have to be horror games.
No.
But they are games, or there are moments in games that kind of like freaked us out, put us on a high adrenaline level, and put us on edge.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, our top 5 scares from video games. Do you mind if I start?
Oh, please go,
All
Mr.
right.
Pants.
Number 5, is one of my favorite horror games, Condemned. Specifically, its sequel, Condemned 2. It is the scene with the bear. If you've never... Spoilers.
Yeah.
Spoilers, by the
it's
way.
something you should actually be scared of because, like, most horror games, especially, like, Condemned has a supernatural thing going on in it.
A little bit, but,
Yeah.
like, most of it's, like, kind of realistic. It's, like, people coming out of the shadows to attack you.
Yeah, but, like, you should be afraid of bears. It's just the way it is.
There is a scene in the game where you are in this house in the middle of the woods, and a bear is running through the house chasing after you, like, breaking everything, just chasing you, and it ends with you in a dead end, and there's some kind of tank you have to use to blow up the bear. But every time you turn around, the bear's just right there to maul you. And it is just, it's tense, it's scary, and it gets me.
That's awesome. No, that's the way it would go, though. I mean, like, if a bear came into your house, it would be absolutely ridiculous.
Especially if it's chasing you through it.
Like, everything's off on the table. You know, you're going to use whatever you can, because that was the whole point of that game.
Yeah.
You picked up random objects to use as weapons for the most part.
Which, by the way, if you've never played Condemned, I recommend it as a horror game.
Yeah. It's not too long. You can probably find it for $1 now somewhere online, I'm sure.
Xbox 360 and PC.
Yeah. Good stuff.
But your number 5.
My number 5 is a newer PC game. It's called Spooky's House of Jump Scares.
I love that game.
Yeah. It's adorable to start. And then it slowly plunges you into a horrible world of desolation.
So the game is essentially this ghost named Spooky tells you to get through these 1,000 rooms. Mm-hmm. And at first, the jump scares aren't that big. It's like a little cardboard cutout of like a cartoon ghost pops up and goes, boo, and stuff like that. And that's how it goes for a little while. But then, like...
Yeah. And then, real monsters start chasing after you.
Yeah.
And the first kind of creepy thing, like, you get to this room. Spoilers, by the way.
Spoilers to everything we're talking about.
You get to this room where they have like a log of all the different creatures that are kind of locked in this house. And they get really kind of scary sounding, like ridiculous. And then eventually, I think it's around room 400-ish or 500-ish, you actually kind of come into this dark, somewhat higher res underworld place. It looks like an old school. There's like classrooms and lockers on the sides, and there's like blood everywhere, and like you're getting chased by some actual monster down there.
That's awesome.
And the game just slowly kind of drives you more mad as you keep playing.
Awesome.
ridiculously cool. I suggest it 100 times. It was free. I don't know if it's still free, but it was free. So
I don't know if it is or not.
Yeah, please give it a play. It's awesome.
Oh, yeah. So my number 4, one of those weird indie PC games that we tried out, Paranormal. Paranormal was this game about you were an artist. You were like a physical artist. You did sculpture and everything, and you thought that your house was haunted. So one night you started to record stuff, and you go around the house and you start to like see things.
Weird stuff, and the game's almost kind of procedurally generated.
Almost, yeah, because
they have a certain like number of scares that happen around the house, and the cool thing that makes it scary is like
it's not always the same thing.
Yeah, like you expect on night 1 for something to happen and it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So
the thing that happened that like scared me the most in this game was you went upstairs and you looked around and you heard a noise downstairs. And when you went back to go downstairs, there was a line of mannequins now guarding the stairwell, which was not weird because it's happened before. If you've played the Resident Evil 7 demo, you know what I'm talking about. What was weird, though, is if you go down the stairs and look, there's now a circle of mannequins around a middle one that's lying on the ground burning.
On fire.
And that was the moment that made me go, oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Mm-hmm.
So not a real jump scare moment, but it definitely, like, it's tense, it's kind of creepy, and it, like, I didn't know what to expect after that.
Absolutely. And that's what horror games should be all about.
Yeah.
The next one is actually probably the least scary game in a scary game series, Resident Evil 4. It was the first one that kind of put it in the more action game kind of place.
I'll argue that 5's less scary.
5's less scary. Okay,
but go on.
Yeah. But nonetheless, my favorite scary part of that game is anytime you hear a chainsaw revving up.
Oh, God. Can we put that sound in here?
Terrifying, bone-chilling, absolutely horrible. Yeah. These chainsaw brutes, they run around with chainsaws. They cut things.
And if they catch you...
You're dead.
You're dead.
They just chop like body parts off and you die.
Beautiful, glorious, gory scene of the main character having his head removed. It's fantastic. But you're scared because, like, if you don't kill them in time and they're bullet sponges...
Yeah, they don't flinch when you shoot them. So it's the first time it happens in the very beginning of the game. It's this iconic scene. You're in a village, and suddenly like you're mobbed by hundreds of zombies or villager thingies at once.
And you just hear that chainsaw.
You hear the chainsaw, and you're like, no.
All right, so my number 3, Slender: The Arrival. Wasn't that bad at first? We were pretty freaked out playing through the first part. But
you know what to handle in the first one. You collect the 8 pages, and you get through it. And it actually was challenging.
It was challenging,
we were stuck a while in the first level.
I manned up, and I did it and got us through it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get to the second level, and instead of Slender Man chasing you...
It's Masky.
It's Masky. And for those who don't know, tiny little dude wears a mask. And instead of just appearing like Slender does, he makes noises and runs around from corners and then jumps on you and hacks away at you.
Pretty scary.
That's not what got me, though. What got me is I now knew what I was expecting, and I was going around turning on the generators in the second level like you're supposed to, and I'm mentally prepared for everything, and when I turn the corner, suddenly that like Inception bong sound hits, and there's Slender right on top of me, and I died. And I screamed like a little girl, threw the keyboard in the air, and I'm just like, I'm done! This is it!
And we haven't tried it since.
No, and it was because though I wasn't ready for it. I assumed it was just Masky and not Slender, and because of that like unexpectedness, like it just got me bad.
It's an excellent exercise in tension and build up.
Yes,
wonderful.
Yeah. So
my number 3 is a newer one as well, Alien Isolation. And it kind of takes the Alien series back to its roots, making it a horror game.
Yes, because Colonial Marines was not a horror game.
Yeah, arguably, I would say it's the best Alien game since Alien 3, I want to say.
On which system?
Super Nintendo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'd argue.
Okay. I never...
Anyone want to fight me on it?
I've actually never played an Alien game aside from like Alien vs. Predator on the Super Nintendo. I'm not going to fight.
That was a good one, too.
It was good, but it's not scary.
But, of course, we're afraid of the aliens in the game. You're stuck on this like lonely, derelict ship. And you need help.
Yeah.
Except not only are the aliens after you, and there's this kind of scary sense, but the crew members of the ship that you're on are also after you. And so that was the thing I didn't expect. That, your first thing you're kind of put in is this room, and there's like 11 guys with machine guns, and you have nothing.
So
and
it's
you
run.
need to avoid them. You need to run. You need to set traps for them. You need to make distractions. You can actually even use the mic on the headset to like make distractions. You can like if you talk too much or say anything too loud or scream, they hear you.
Oh, that's awesome.
I know, it's ridiculous.
That's really, really cool.
So that first scene, now the game doesn't get all that scary afterwards, honestly. You're kind of used to the tension and stuff being built all the time, but that first time you're kind of thrust into that situation. It's absolutely terrifying and a great game.
Nice. So my second one is not any particular scene, but it is all of PT. All of PT. For those who don't know, PT was the teaser.
The playable teaser.
The playable teaser, that's why it's PT, for Silent Hills, which was going to be the newest Silent Hill game done by Hideo Kojima, starring Norman Reedus. The teaser was terrifying. I could not finish it. I couldn't.
Yeah, we would take turns just like grabbing the controller, and we'd sit there shaking. And even though there were other people in the room, and we're adults, and we know that ghosts aren't real, yeah, terrifying.
Oh, absolutely terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
And if you download it and never played it, go try it. If you never download it, I'm sorry. It's gone.
Yeah.
Go watch people play it.
Yeah, they are making, it got canceled once, and then they kind of brought it back, Allison Road.
That's what it's called.
Yeah. They are actually making a spiritual successor to the idea of PT. So hopefully we'll get that game in the next year.
Right. But, oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, your number two.
Yeah, my number two is this is sad. So, Tiger used to make these old electronic handheld games. You'd buy them for like $10 or $15 at the store. Put a couple AA batteries in them and play them.
Mm-hmm.
The best one was Home Alone 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I'm
Really?
gonna set this. You're a 10-year-old kid. You're in a house by yourself. Two adults are trying to break into the house and steal stuff from you and probably get you and maybe bite your fingers off like they do in the movie, right?
What?
Like he threatens he's going to bite the kid's fingers off at the end of the movie.
Does he?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember that.
So that's the premise.
Okay.
That's really the premise. Think about that. You're a lone child in a house and there are predators coming after you. Terrifying. Well, anyway, the whole game is built around the idea of building traps in front of the doors.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to stay away from them for a certain amount of time. And so you had to use the little buttons, and you could like make traps above the doors, below the doors, and then there's like a door in the back. And you could see where you were on this little mini map.
But you could
and
never
you could see where they were too. And sometimes they would break into two, and one of them would come in one door, one would come in the other.
This is a Tiger Electronics game?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Wow.
And it was absolutely, it filled me with so much like dread and anxiety while I would play it.
Wow.
It was ridiculously fun.
Wow.
And I don't know if there's any way to play it now. There's just no way to even like, my version's broken in a toy box somewhere probably.
I don't know.
But yeah, ridiculously awesome.
Nice. So my number one scariest moment in a video game is not from a horror game. It is from an N64 Star Wars game. It is from Shadows of the Empire.
It's got a scary title.
But the game itself wasn't scary.
No.
But so I have this thing about underwater creatures.
Mm-hmm.
They freak me out a little, but
You're letting everybody on the internet know this, by the way.
that's fine. I don't care.
They now know your worst fears.
If they want to mail me an octopus to freak me out, like
Go for it.
that's on them. But so there is one particular level that takes place in a sewer, and there are these monsters that are essentially like octopi crossed with a sarlacc pit. So there's a giant gaping hole in it.
Yeah, if you've ever seen A New Hopes, the Star Wars Episode 4.
It's the thing that's in the trash compactor, which you never actually see. You see its eye stalk and a tentacle, and that's it.
Yeah.
But you actually see it this time. And the little ones are kind of scary, and they make this terrible
they're
screaming
adorable.
noise. Shut up. But the worst part is at the very end, you go into a room, this giant room that's filled with murky sewer water. And in it is a giant, I think they're called Dianogas.
Mm-hmm.
It's a giant Dianoga that's screaming, giant toothy pit at the bottom, tentacles up in the eye stalk. You can barely see. It's screaming, and like I have nightmares.
You
about
have to,
this
and you
stuff.
have to deal with it. You beat the game before, right?
Yeah, I beat the game.
Yeah, you had to deal with that.
I did, and I don't ever want to again. Like, I think back to that game like, oh, man, I kind of want to play it again. But I'm like, no, I can't live through that again. I can't have the nightmares anymore, Lambo. I can't have the nightmares anymore. Anyway, scariest moment in a game for me.
My number one is, I'm going back even further. Jurassic Park on the Super Nintendo.
Like the Zelda style top down.
Yeah, so the majority of the game was like that. You're fighting dinosaurs and stuff like that, and then the game would thrust you into these like unfairly horrifying first-person segments. You would go into any building, and suddenly you would be first person.
So kind of like Doom or something.
Kind of like Doom, and
Okay.
it like horrible frame rate. You would like click forward, basically, like as you walked. There were dinosaurs everywhere. They would come after you, and you would see them like on the first-person perspective until they'd like snap at you and all that kind of stuff. You had to shoot them. The scariest thing about the game, and it makes me distrustful. It was actually why I had a chance to get Doom for my Super Nintendo and said no, because it made me distrustful as first-person shooters. You would walk down these doors, and if you like opened a door, you could see into the other room. But if it was black, if there was no lights on in the other room, you walked in, and half the time it would take you into another level, and half the time it would just kill you. You would hear screaming of dinosaur noises, and then the screen would go red, and it was it.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's kind of horrifying.
So it's even more or less it's not even really that the dinosaurs were scary. It's like it's the fear of the unknown that the game put in my soul. Absolutely awful.
But that's what a horror game should do.
It was twisted. And to this day, I've never beaten the game because I just never got past those first person sequences. There's like a ton of them you have to play through, and there's hidden stuff actually in them that you need to get. You need to get 2 parts over in the overworld part.
Yeah.
So it's just ridiculous.
I'm sorry. So when it comes to horror games, the jump scares don't always do it. Because like Resident Evil 4 has some like jump scare moments, but I don't think that game is scary.
No, not at all.
It's the build up.
That particular one, no.
No, and 5 didn't.
There's no alligators in the sewer, and there's no giant snakes in the wall.
There was the big fish.
Yeah, but yeah.
Which, by the way, if you've ever played Resident Evil 4, and if you still have it, when you get to the lake, before you jump on the boat, just go up to the water and shoot the water a couple times. Just do it.
Awesome.
Just do it. No spoilers. Just do it.
Just do it.
If you don't know what happens, it'll be fun.
Yeah. And then, like I said, for future games we have coming out, we have, like I said, Allison Road, and what I'm really excited for. There was an indie game. It was originally going to be just like a tribute to like Friday the 13th. It took place at a camp. It was going to be a slasher game.
Yeah.
And then the people who hold the intellectual properties to Friday the 13th said, "Can we make this into an actual Friday the 13th game?" Because they liked the demo. And
wait, they're actually making it.
They're actually making a licensed Friday the 13th game.
Wow.
Yeah, in the modern style, and it's going to be like a survival horror. You're
That's
playing as
awesome.
one of the campers. Jason's after you. You're going to be able to set traps. It's going to be fun.
Sounds vaguely like Until Dawn.
Yeah.
Which a game I haven't played and I want to because I have a soft spot for horror games, even though I hardly ever finish them.
They're just fun to play, right?
They are fun to play, and you can bet that you'll find on our channel us playing other horror games. Right now, I know the Resident Evil 7 one is up there. We're going to put others up in the future.
Indeed.
So be looking for that as we get to show the internet how
much of a wuss we are.
Yeah, how much of a wuss
like
we really are.
We are a collective wuss.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, we hope you enjoyed this. Share at the bottom what your favorite horror games were, what your biggest scary moments from a video game were. And remember to like, subscribe, share, follow, comment, all that stuff. For Nerdstrodamus, I'm Dr. Pants.
I'm Lambo.
We'll catch you next time. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. If you liked what you see, click subscribe. Also, check the links below for our Twitter, our blog, and our Facebook page. Check back often. We'll be posting new videos weekly.